What? The countdown never happened.
Yes, it did.
No, it went to 5 and then it stopped.
It's recording right now.
Crud. How do I?
It's literally recording right now.
I know, but I just didn't see the countdown. It went 5 and then it stopped and then it just started recording.
I literally saw the entire countdown.
I did not see the countdown. I just saw 5. Anyways, all right. So ready? Let's start over again.
I'm leaving this all in.
No, why?
Why not?
Okay, well then here we go. Ready?
Yes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to You Be the Judge with your host this time. This time I pronounced it properly, not horse, like the last episode. Your host, Charlie, aka Tukey, and my co-host.
Geometric bananas.
There you go. So last week we explained in depth the way our little game works out. But if you want the TLDR version of it, basically it is we read you the stories, we flip a coin to see who has to defend which side. Heads defends the poster, tails defends the other person. And you have to defend the party you're assigned to no matter what. So, without further ado, let's get started with today's show.
You be the judge right now. You can be the judge right now. You be the judge.
Here comes the judge.
The
You
judge.
be the judge right now. Come on now and be the judge.
Well, there we have it. We are some two corny people. Alrighty, so let's see what we got in store for today. I mean, it's always fun discussing other people's drama, except when it happens to us directly, right? So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into story number 1, and my lovely wife will be taking it up for us. Go for it.
Okay.
And good luck with this one. This one looks like a pretty decent read, so have fun.
I know. Well, let's be honest. Majority of them are.
Yeah, and we can't read to save our lives.
Hey,
So
man. You know what?
I said we. So go for it.
Am I in the wrong for telling my daughter I won't be paying for her college unless she attempts a relationship with my family? I, a 38-year-old male, have a 19-year-old daughter. We'll call her Ariel. With my ex-wife, we'll call her Lauren, a 39-year-old female. We had Lauren. Let me start that again.
Off to a great start. I'm rooting for you. I really am.
We had Ariel, too young, and it was a struggle. We moved into Lauren's family's home, and I was working multiple jobs. Me and Lauren were best friends through all of this. But things ended when Ariel was about 2 years old. Lauren's friend, we'll call her Tori, a 38-year-old female, told me that Lauren had been messaging other guys. Whenever they
Ooh.
would go out, Lauren would give out her number. I checked Lauren's phone and found the messages. I asked for a divorce, and Lauren was pissed. She wanted to reconcile, but I didn't want to, and we ended up getting split custody. Lauren made my life hell. Lauren badmouthed me, would miss pickup times with Ariel, and would make decisions without talking to me about it. Lauren's dad even offered me money to relinquish custody, and I went off on him for it. Ariel is now 19 and just started college. The deal was me and her mom would split her college tuition. I married Tori when Ariel was 6 years old. And yes, that same Tori, the one who, told him about everything. Tori was a rock during the divorce, but we didn't date until 2 years later. Lauren used this to warp Ariel against Tori and our 1-year-old son. She excludes them whenever she spends the night, and she will just talk to me or go straight to her room if my family is around. Our son walks to the basement if she comes over. It hurts me a lot. I've spent thousands on therapy, but at this point, Ariel is just being nasty for the sake of it. Her mom has convinced her that I cheated with her friend and had a baby, which is funny because, as I've pointed out, the timelines don't even match up. I've done everything at this point, including family time, one-on-one, and therapy. Ariel is plain rude to them, and my family are done trying with her. Ariel graduated from high school in May and hosted a party. I was invited, but my family wasn't. I told Ariel I found that disrespectful, so I'd send a card but wouldn't be going. She didn't care, and we haven't spoken since. I get a call from Lauren saying that she paid the first semester and was wondering when I'd be paying. I said I was no longer paying, as I'm not pulling money out of my household when Ariel is disrespectful to 2/3 of it. of my family. My ex-wife went off on me saying we had an agreement. I reminded her of when her father tried to buy me out of my custody and said to her, "You have what you've always wanted, full control and custody. You won, so figure it out yourself." Then I text her that I've been putting up with this long enough. She got her 18 years of child support from me. So until she planned on setting the record straight that I was done with both of them, and then I blocked her. I called Ariel and told her the same thing. Gave the reasons and I'm not paying and told her she needed to look into student loans. But I would pay for college if she at least tried to form a bond with my family because she created this situation with her attitude. So if she wants my help, she needs to attempt it. She started crying, but I didn't fall for it. I told her what my expectations were and to let me know what her plan is so I can move the money around. My wife is on my side here, saying that we've been the bad guys long enough, but I'm getting crap from others. So, am I in the wrong?
Man, when you stopped reading there for a minute, I thought, is the story over? I'm like, I still see like more to read. You paused it for quite a while. It's like,
I lost my spot. I
yeah.
lost my spot.
Okay, so the TLDR version of this is basically Lauren was texting other guys while going out to the club while he was working. Tori, her friend, decided to let him know of what she was doing. That was a being good friend, or I mean, who knows at this point, right? Only they two know.
Hmm.
It wasn't until 2 years after the divorce that Tori and this guy hooked up, and now the daughter. I mean, it seems like a total mess, but you know what? I mean, that's what we're here for, to debate, to see what side we can defend, right?
Right.
So heads, you got to defend the dad. Tails, you defend the daughter, right? Looks like it. Yeah,
The
the daughter.
the daughter slash ex-wife looks like.
No, it looks like the daughter because it's saying wrong for telling the daughter he won't be paying for the college unless she makes amends
But
with the family.
it's also against the ex-wife because him and her were arguing about it when she's like, where is it? Where she says, we had a deal.
Hmm.
So I would say it's both of them.
Okay, well let's go ahead and flip the coin here. So you are assigned a heads.
Okay,
No.
so so I'm defending the dad.
You are defending the dad. This 10 minutes starts now. Go for it.
Okay, to me this is pretty open and shut. He made an attempt. He was working multiple jobs while his wife was messaging other guys while she would, I'm assuming, having a girls' night out with her friend Tori, and because she ended up losing him, she's the one that caused all this. She's then going to turn around and make him look like the bad guy. And he's like, okay, no, I'm not going to be here with, and plus she's um mistreating his younger son who's completely innocent in all of this. If you want to believe what your mom told you, that this woman stole your dad from her and everything, okay, I'm not going to agree with you on that, but I could see where the hate would come from. But what does the kid have to do with it? Why are you going to be mean to the kid? So for you to be here and say, oh, I'm going to only talk to you and I'm going to mistreat everyone else. And I'm based off of how everything is the way he explained it, she probably was giving him attitude too. He was just being a good dad and making sure that he still had a relationship with his daughter. But you know what? You poke a dog too much, eventually it's going to bite you. So when he's like, you know what? Why should I? Because with them being married, him and Tori, that's her money too. So if he goes and pays for his daughter's college for his portion, yeah, she's not going to say anything, but she's also thinking like, okay, that's money that I'm paying to a kid that disrespects me. So no, that's my argument.
Okay, so in terms of the whole thing with Lauren texting and messaging other guys, I'm gonna bypass that part only because I took a quick look at the at the story again, and it's mainly focusing on the whole college point. So I'm going to focus mainly on the daughter part. So from a kid's perspective, right? She's 19 years old now, going into college, and they split up at a very young age for her. So from her perspective, I understand and I see because yes, she's been fed all this hate her entire life, and she's seeing the results of it. I mean, we don't know what type of preferential treatment that the son is receiving. I mean, granted, yes, it's wrong for her to be treating the son that way, but at the same time, we don't know what type of preferential treatment that he's receiving above her from her father. So yeah, and again, she's doing is she's going based off of whatever was fed to her whole life. So you ever hear that expression of it's easier to be lied to than to be convinced you've been lied to? It's kind of one of those things, and she's just going along with what she's been taught her whole life. So this is what she knows. This is what she's used to. You know, she's used to seeing her father not being around. She doesn't have that fatherly figure to help bring that balance to her life. So I could definitely see how she could be battling with that.
No, she has had her fatherly figure because he has never once been out of her life. He has always been around.
Correct, but she's been fueled all this information.
Okay, but even if he can show her that the timelines don't match up, there's been therapy involved, family time, one on one. That is just her being like, no, I'm just going to continue to choose to believe what I want to believe, regardless, even if I've been shown proof that that's not the case.
But as a parent, you expect someone to protect and nurture, right? So she's going off to college, starting out her life. You would expect the parent to be helping out. And again, the situation is between the dad and the ex-wife, between Lauren. But the one who's paying the price here is Ariel.
I get that, but
I see your point, but I don't know I agree with you. Is
no,
basically what you're telling me.
no, I'm not saying that. I see the point that you're trying to make, but that still doesn't give her the right. I mean, she's literally going into his home and disrespecting his wife, and I mean, it's even though it's her half brother, that's still her little brother, and she is disrespecting them. And the son has nothing to do with it. And based off this, when she told him, okay, I'm having a party to celebrate that I graduated high school, you are invited, but your family is not. When he told her, you know what, I don't find that respectful. I'm going to send you a card, but I'm not going to be going because you didn't invite my wife nor my son, your little brother. She didn't care. And they
But
didn't talk after that.
but why would she invite the family that she feels is a cause of her not having her father around?
Okay, then that, if you want to look at it like that, why not invite the little brother? Again, what does he have
Again,
to do with this?
he plays a role. He plays a role because he is a he's a variable to the equation because he's one of the ones that is part of the new family. So obviously there's going to be jealousy around because you're realizing as a child, hey, I lost my father to not just this woman, but this competitor, and this competitor being this kid. Now, I want to add a little distinction for the listeners. Now it says the boy is what 1 year old. Wait, is he 1 year old?
Okay, that's what I was thinking. It
Because it
says
says he
here.
walks to the basement. If this dad is letting his 1 year old walk to the basement every time
I
his
don't.
daughter's around, then I have some serious concerns about this guy being a parent. I just want to throw that out there
No, no,
because
no. I
nobody
think.
should let their 1 year old child walk to a basement by themselves.
Okay, no. I think
Because
that at
if
the
that's the
time.
case, I think that pretty much explains why Ariel's pissed off all the time at her dad. Okay.
Okay, look. It says right here, I married Tori when Ariel was 6.
Hmm.
She was my rock during the divorce, but we didn't date until 2 years later. And Lauren used this to warp Ariel against Tori and our 1 year old son. So what I'm assuming is when they got married, the kid was already a year old, but Ariel was 6. So fast forward to her being now 19, numbers are hard, so do the math.
Yeah. Okay.
However old the kid
So
would be.
he's probably about a certain age, older now.
Okay, hold on. I need to know this now.
I can't do this math in my head right now.
Hold on.
I'm on the spot.
I need to know this now. So hold on. How do I even do this math? 19 minus 6. That's 13 years. So he's about what, 12, 13?
Okay, so he's about 12 or 13 years old, and he feels a need to hide from her out of being dramatic, or like what's going on here?
No. Yeah, because you totally want to be around somebody who's ignoring you or disrespecting you.
Yes, again, he's a factor to why she doesn't have her dad to herself.
It doesn't matter. Whatever your father and if how it happened in your head, if you're going to believe the lies that were fed to you, even though you were shown proof, if you are going to be, you know, where was I going with this? Hold on.
Exactly.
Hold on. No.
Exactly.
No, no, no. I was going
You're
somewhere with
defending a
this.
parent who decides to let their 1-year-old walk to the basement.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay. Look.
If I talked real loud like that, I could make you look like the bad guy, too.
Yeah, the dad's a bad guy for letting his 1-year-old walk to the basement.
No.
Who does that?
Okay. You know what? You know what? Whatever.
Okay.
No, it's open and shut. The one who's in the wrong is Ariel, because she's basically treating him like an ATM machine. That's all he is to her.
But she's been around his life her entire life. Like she has spent time with him throughout her entire life. So I mean, it exists even amongst actual blood siblings. Like there is such thing as sibling rivalry. So now imagine on a bigger scale, because now this is no longer your blood brother. Now you're fighting for your dad's attention with somebody who you were convinced of that abandoned you for.
You do share the same blood. Just because you don't have the same mom, you still have the same dad.
Yes, but you were abandoned by your father for this.
You
for
were
these
not.
two.
You were not abandoned.
Well, that's what she was fed to, right? She was fed that way. So that's what she knows. This is what she was taught.
No, it's what she chooses to believe, because he told her the truth. He told her the side. He even showed her proof and showed her the timeline. She chooses to believe her mother.
Well, you know what? Let the listeners decide who won on that one, because we are past the 10-minute mark on that one. And let the judges, you judges, let us know what you guys think. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know on all the social medias ever, and just let us know what you guys think. Who won this argument? But now that the clock is over, I'm going to give my true opinion. I agree with you. The dad is not an ATM machine. He should not have to pay for the colleges for the daughter, because in my opinion, if you're going to be, I mean, you're right, the timeline's there, the child was already born, the marriage happened 2 years after you were born. Like, it all fits within the timeline spectrum. And the fact that the dad tried to, I mean, can we talk about that a little bit? The fact that the dad tried to buy him out of his custody.
Exactly.
Who does that? Like, oh yeah, dude, how much do you want for my child?
Yeah.
That's kind of on a little bit creepy scale, in my opinion. There ain't nobody can ever buy me out of my child.
Exactly.
That's your flesh and blood. Just doesn't work that way. So
I mean, what honestly gives the Lauren's dad, what gives him what's that word? The audacity to think that he could go up to him and tell him,
mhm.
how much do you want so that you could give up custody of your daughter?
Yeah, exactly. If you're Lauren's dad and you're listening to this, I hope you slip on a rock and, I don't know, break your funny elbow or
Just
funny
your funny
bone.
elbow.
Just your funny bone on your elbow. That's it. Nothing else.
No, no, you said funny elbow.
Okay, well, funny bone. You know what I meant. All right, on to story number 2. Okay, so let's see. Question is, am I in the wrong for removing all the improvements I've made to my room and my parents' house after they told me that I had to move out?
Good luck to you on this one.
We'll see. I, a 25-year-old female, used to live with my parents. My dad is 55 years old and my mom's 50 years old because it was very close to my work and it was very expensive in the area. I've been able to live on my own, but didn't because I never needed to, and my parents had not asked me to leave. To leave. As time went on, I earned more income. I put an air conditioning in, made my room a smart room, as well as the entire house with Alexa. I put a very good shower in the guest room, which I eventually added to my bedroom. I also bought high quality furniture for my room, etc. The whole works. My room turned out to be the best room in the house because of all the changes I had made. And yes, I paid my rent to my parents, a pretty penny amount, by the way, too. It's been 3 months since they came to talk to me, saying that it was time for me to move out because they wanted to have their alone time. Bow chicka wow wow. And I was able to live on my own. I agreed to this. After all, I was just living there for ease and convenience. I found a house and I would need to make all the changes I had planned. In order to avoid having to repurchase all the items, I just replaced the upgrades I had done to my parents' house. All the smart switches, the smart light bulbs, smart sockets, etc. And I replaced those upgrades in my parents' home with common ones. I paid for everything and all the changes myself, so this would not be an extra expenditure for my parents. I also removed the air conditioner that I had installed, but I also paid for the holes to be plugged so the house would not have the holes from the AC. My parents started complaining that I shouldn't have taken everything out, as they were in common use. They were planning on moving into my room, and with these changes I had made, and with these changes I had to make.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, all
yeah.
right, let me start the sentence over. They were planning on moving into my room, and with these changes I had made. Okay, there it is. That's you know what? Quiet. That clap didn't come through, by the way. And
No,
with
I
the
stopped it.
changes I had, what? Hold on. Let me try to do this. Give me 1 second. And with these changes I had made to make the room back to normal would worsen the house in general. No more smart house. And what made them more upset was that all these items I had removed were quality upgrades. I said that they had I said that they had asked me to move out and I'm taking everything I bought with me because I had other expenses as well, including the down payment I put on the house, and these items were all bought by me anyways. And if they needed to or wanted to buy these items, I would help them search online. But the items that I installed myself with my own money would be coming with me to my new home. They called me selfish and childish because I made the house worse and removed the items in common use, as they were already being used to make my parents' house into a smart house. They complained even more when I didn't want to leave my 65-inch smart TV in my room as a gift for them. Well, that sucks. I didn't want to leave the TV because it was brand new and it was too expensive. I moved out a week ago, but they're still upset. All the items are brand new, less than a year old. And yes, it was cheaper for me to replace the items since these items are very expensive in my country. And it is legal in my country for me to take everything since I purchased everything for that house. So clearly, these people are not in the US. Side note, no item replaced in the house caused my parents to lose any money. And all items were put in better shape than when I first made the house into a smart house. So, if anything, all the items that I had installed on my way out were an improvement from what they had in there prior to me making the house into a smart house. Am I in the wrong?
Okay.
So, quick TLDR, you want to take it away?
So basically, TLDR, the daughter turned her room and a bunch of common areas in the house into smart things, making it somewhat of a smart house. They told her, okay, you need to get out because we want a bone. And she's like, okay, well, I'm taking my stuff with me.
That's one way of putting it.
Mm-hmm. Ding.
Ding. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip that coin.
I need to get a bell.
Oh, we have one for you. Oh, you mean for the. Okay, hold on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I make myself laugh. Okay, so here we go. Flipping now, and I got.
You know what's sad is I didn't get that until you started laughing.
I got heads. So I
Ding.
am defending our post. I am defending our poster, and I'm going to get ready to start the clock now. Here
So
we.
okay, wait.
What? What?
I'm defending. Wait, no,
You're,
shut up. I'm
you're
defending the
defending the
parents,
parents.
right?
Yes.
Okay, all
The
right.
parents. Yeah, not the realtor. The parents.
The realtor.
Well, I mean, you seem so lost. I thought this story was pretty clear. So, I
Sorry.
mean,
Okay.
all right, here we go. So I'm defending our poster. So the fact that she is not only going a step above and beyond to make the house better conditioned than what it was before, she has every right to take all her items with her. I mean, she purchased these items, she spent time putting these items in, and there's no reason why she should have to leave this behind with her parents. I mean, she, after all, she is the one who worked for these items. She clearly stated that in her country, all this stuff is very expensive, and there's no reason she should have to leave this behind for her parents. I mean, I get why her parents would want her to leave this behind because they're probably not very tech savvy. But then again, on that note, tech savvy parents is like click on, click off, click on, click off. I mean, that's pretty simple.
Amen.
That's pretty simple in my opinion. I just want to throw that out there. Um, but
Not all
so
parents are like that. My parents are tech savvy.
that's my point of view is that she bought all this stuff with all her money. She's the one who, I mean, yes, she while she was living there, she made the situation a better living situation for the entire family while she's there. But she wasn't expected to be there for. I mean, if you're kicking somebody out and they're doing all these upgrades to the house, rightfully so, it is theirs. I mean, granted, it is, in the U.S. we have a different set of laws with fixtures and all that, but that's a whole different category. That's a whole different country. So yeah, that's
Okay.
that's my take on it.
Okay, so your argument is they're in a completely different country. Got it. Okay.
No, 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 no. That's not my argument at all. My argument is she spent the money, she put in the time, she put in the works. She should get to keep it.
Okay. So, my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. So, when you are living with your parents, okay, yeah, you're giving them rent because you're already of age and you are basically contributing your portion. Your parents are 55 and 50 years old.
Damn.
That's literally what it says in the story that you read.
I know. I'm
That,
just copying Kevin Hart's when he interviewed that.
oh, that's a drop to get.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one.
So, anyways, they're 55. I can't stop thinking about it now. They're 55 and 50 years old. You said it yourself, they probably are not the most tech savvy, but they were tech savvy enough to learn how to use everything that was put into the house. So when you grow accustomed to something, you and it's taken away from you, you're just kind of it's kind of like a bit of a shock to you. And they probably thought, okay, this is our daughter who we took care of for 25 years, and now we want to have some alone time. We want to be just us. They probably are just thinking, well, she probably is going to leave everything here. So if she's going to leave everything here, and it sounds like she's making good money if she was able to do all of this stuff to the house, plus an AC, plus give them rent, and by her words, a pretty penny too. So she has the money. So for her to be taking all of the stuff away from her parents, and you know what? Okay, if you want to take everything that you put into the bedroom, you want to take everything that made the house smart, okay, I'll grant you that. But the TV? Come on. You're really going to take away from your parents a 65-inch TV.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You kidding me? We have, in case you forgot, we have the bigger TV in our room than my parents have in theirs. Because I'm like, this is my TV. This is
Okay.
where I watch football in. This is my TV. Of course I'm going to
Okay.
fight my parents over a TV. You kidding me?
Okay. And yeah, but if I have the money to do all the stuff to the house and I have the money to buy this 65-inch TV plus pay them rent, you know what? You're my parents. You let me stay here for till I was 25 years old.
No, 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 no,
Even
no,
by
no.
her own
Hold on. Time out.
admission.
Pause. Time out. Over the line. Whatever. They didn't let her stay. She was a renter. She was a renter. Let's harp on that for a moment. She was renting. They didn't let her stay. If they were letting her stay, she'd be living there for free. But she wasn't. Another point I'd like to point out is that you said right now that they expected her to leave in there. So you're calling the expectation, the equivalent of entitlement. They're not entitled to those items. The fact that they expected it because she lived there and did that for the house, they're still her items. I'll still defend this to this very day till forever. That's my TV. I ain't no way I'm leaving a 65-inch TV. Well, yeah, no, I'm not leaving my TV.
Okay, but see, the thing is when you have, and I am going to say that they let her stay there because even with paying rent, that's the decent thing to do. If you are already an adult who's making money, you have a job that you're making a good amount off of, and you're going to be doing all of these things to the house and not pay rent. I'm sorry, no, that's not
I
how
agree
it
with you.
works.
I agree with you 100%. But that's what I'm saying. They didn't let her stay. They charged her rent. So
They
there's
didn't
there's
charge her rent.
yeah.
She paid rent on her own.
Hold on. That's not what the story says.
It says right here, and yes, I paid rent to my parents, a pretty penny amount too, by the way.
Yeah, she paid rent to her parents. So as
She
far as
doesn't,
I'm concerned, she was a tenant.
okay, but she's not saying that they made her pay.
But she paid. She paid. She helped the parents in a very in a very positive way, especially if she paid a very handsome penny for it too. So if she bought all these items to help with
Did you start the timer?
I did. We're at six
Okay.
minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay.
So she paid a pretty penny every single month to this. So she should be entitled to these items. I mean, they're hers. She bought them.
Again, like I said, if you're gonna, nitpick about everything, okay, I can give you the smart switch, the smart light bulbs, the smart sockets, all of that. Okay, the air conditioner. And I kind of skimmed through the comment
Wow, I thought
section.
you'd actually fight me on the air conditioner because that in my opinion would be like, okay, that's an actual permanent fixture. Like, yeah, I would definitely leave that behind.
Well,
The
see,
TV? Like, you're
no.
gonna fight me over the TV over
Well,
the air conditioner?
that's what I'm trying to tell you is the reason why I'm not fighting you on the AC is because I skimmed through the comment section of this post and she said that it was not a permanent fixture, that it was one of those like portable ones where it has like a big old hose that you stick out through the window,
Hmm.
and that her parents never used it.
Hold on, you said you skimmed through the comments?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we talked about in the last podcast that we were not doing that, so you cheated.
We skimmed through the comments because there was a couple unanswered questions that I had, and she answered them in the comment section.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds about right. Cheater.
But that's why I'm not fighting the position of the AC because it's a portable one. It's not, the kind that, you have to have outside the house and it's fixated and you have to have like a handyman go and do stuff.
Okay, but a TV? You're gonna fight over a TV? I mean, it's
Because
literally.
that's the least that you can do. If your parents are, and yes, again, I am going to emphasize, let you stay in their home
Mhm.
when they know by your own admission that she was living there only because it was a convenience to her.
Correct, because it wasn't necessary for her to leave, and her parents didn't care. So
Exactly.
it was a
So
give and take.
they were letting her stay there when there was actually no need for her to stay there. But they didn't say anything. They let her stay. But they were like, "You know what?
She was
We
See, but this is the thing though. She willingly left, right? She didn't cause any drama or anything about her leaving. She's like, okay, you want me to leave? That's fine, I'll leave. But I'm having to come into all these expenditures. So she built her home according to how or her room. She built her room. See, and that's the part that I think both of us are missing here is that she built the house with Alexa, but she built her room primarily for herself, right? So according to her liking, she spent her money on her room, not the entire house, on her room. And the parents are upset because they came in with the expectation, oh man, we're gonna get a sweet room on the way in when soon as she leaves, and then they just realize they're losing the TV as well. So this is no longer a family matter, in my opinion. I think this is more they're upset that they're losing some money.
I just replaced the upgrades I had done to my parents' house. All the smart switches, smart light bulbs, smart sockets, etc. And I replaced those upgrades in my parents' home
Hmm.
with common ones. I
Yeah, but
paid
they're
for
more upset
everything
about
and
the
all the
TV.
changes
They're more
myself.
upset about the TV. That's what
No,
they're upset about. The
no, they
TV.
were okay. The first thing that they started complaining about was that everything in the room was gone
There's some
because
overly
they were.
entitled parents, if you ask me.
Listen, if I said this before and I'll say it again. If you're gonna come at me with logic, I can't argue with you.
Well, that's good because we are actually at 10 minutes and a half. So that wraps up the point for this story.
Okay, so my honest opinion is no, definite. My honest opinion is definitely she owes nothing to them. If they said, you know what, you need to get out because, mama needs hers right now, okay, fine. That's perfectly fine, but I'm going to take my stuff with me. The only thing I do stand by, and this is the hill I'm choosing to die on, is they should have at the bare minimum left the TV.
I kind of agree with everything you said up until the TV part, and not because I'm saying the TV belongs to her, but more so because it could be looked at two different ways, right? If she's moving into this house, she's already put all this expenditures in towards this house, put a down payment. What if that's the only TV she has? Okay, so that's one way to look at it. That's one way I'm looking at it. If that's the only TV I have, this is my form of entertainment when I am home and I have no TV and I don't have money to buy another TV, then she's got nothing to do at that new house. But if she has this money and she has enough money to go buy herself another TV to where it won't financially put her in any burdens, then yeah, she could have definitely left the TV for the parents.
She doesn't
Absolutely.
sound like she's in any financial burden because she bought a house.
Yes, but you put a sizable down payment. It said right there she put a sizable down payment on the house. So we don't know what her financial situation is.
Again, the bare minimum she could have done is left the TV because
Yeah, but how is this her fault though?
my point is that, let's say
Oh, I
she,
get it. I get it. You want the parents to Netflix and chill. Okay, I get it. That makes sense.
hey, why do you think they're kicking her out?
That is true. But due to time, we're going to move on to the next story.
Okay.
All right, so you read story number 3. Go ahead, take it away.
All right, this one's heavy, so let's just go into it. Am I in the wrong for telling my mom and stepdad that they don't get to dictate my wedding guest list unless they're paying for my wedding? So, my wedding is coming up at the end of the year, and for months, my mom and stepdad have been on my case about the guest list. My fiance and I are paying for the wedding, and we already knew who we did and didn't want to add to the guest list before we sat down to do our wedding invites. I already had them, my mom and my stepdad, on my case about my step siblings needing to have a full role in the wedding and not be treated differently than my sister. But they also try to insist I invite my stepdad's family. So, some background: my dad died when I was 7, my sister was 5. My dad's family were always a big part of our lives. My mom's family was never involved. She married my stepdad when I was 9, and his family lived pretty scattered, so not too much contact, but they sent stuff occasionally. He had kids ranging from 8 years old down to 3 years old. We all lived together, and there was drama because out of all of us, my sister and I were the ones with the extended family involved in our life, aka my dad's family. My dad's family, who showed up to school plays, graduations, etc., they were not involved in my step siblings' lives. My step siblings had no actual active grandparents who they saw. Their mom wasn't in the picture either. There was always some pressure added to my sister and I to make sure we loved and saw them as real siblings so they could at least have a solid, strong nuclear family. That didn't happen though. I love my sister more. I care about my sister more. To me, she is my real siblings, and they are not the same. I already put my foot down that I wasn't going to give my step siblings roles for the wedding. My sister is my best person along with my best friend. My fiance has her sister and her brother as her people of honor. That's it. It's been quite a fight. An even bigger one has been with my stepdad's family. My mom said they are my family too, and that means they deserve an invite. I hardly know those people. They are not important to me. It has been argued that my mom, my stepdad, and my step siblings would feel more comfortable with family of theirs present since my dad's side isn't part of their lives. I argued that it's mine and my fiance's wedding and that we're not inviting just anyone. After a lot of pressure, I said that they could not dictate our guest list unless they want to pay for the wedding themselves. I know they can't, so it was never a concern that they would offer. They said I had no right to demand they pay for the wedding. I said I hadn't demanded they pay. I had just pointed out that if they want specific people there, that they would need to pay for that. But they can't, so they need to let it go. They called me rude and said I was using my wedding as a weapon to hurt them. They also called me entitled. Am I in the wrong?
Ooh, that's brutal because that could go both ways. But let's talk about it. That's why we're here. So, you want to go ahead and flip the coin? Let's see what we got here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you got tails. So
Tails.
you are
I'm
defending
defending
the
the parents?
parents. Yes, you are
Oh,
defending. Well, clearly you're not going to be defending the siblings, the step siblings. They're not part of this fight. They're being dragged into this by the parents. All right, so you are tails. Take it away.
all right. So, yeah. Okay.
You're off to a
Just
good start. Just keep it up, honey. Keep it up.
okay. So let's see. So some background. My dad died when I was 7.
I just want to point out you'd be a terrible lawyer.
I would be. I so would be. Okay. So my dad died when I was 7, and my sister was 5. This
Are you gonna
man.
read the whole thing again?
No. I'm
Oh, thank
just
God. I'm like, because you're on the clock.
no. I'm saying here that the girls were young. Or I'm sorry, not the girls. It's actually a guy writing this. The brother and the sister were young when their dad died. So this man has been in their lives since they were around that age, and she married him when they were 9 and 8.
Hmm.
Or wait, no, numbers are hard.
9 and 7.
9 and 7. Okay, so he probably figures, you know what? I've been in their life. I've raised them like my own children. And based off the way that she wrote this, I'm sorry, the way he wrote this, it sounds like his family also sent gifts to them, not just his kids. Because even though they weren't able to be around, they sent gifts. So when you're around somebody their whole life and you raise them, you would assume that they would see you as family and not just somebody who is married to their mom. The same thing would go for the siblings. If you're raised together, you would think there'd be a closer bond than just the way that he's putting it, which is, they're just there.
Hmm.
So I think there should be more of a compassion on his end to at least take them into consideration that they are really their only family because everybody else is just not around.
Okay. You done?
Yeah.
So you're done?
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I see wrong with what you're saying because we're assuming that the poster or the way you made it sound, it's like the poster's not having compassion. Compassion is completely different than responsibility, right? Because yes, you can have compassion for these kids who are not his siblings, but at the same time, it's not his responsibility to cater to them either. I get it. This man came in, took you in as his dad, and raised you as his dad, but we also don't know the type of relationship that he has with this person because he doesn't talk about it in the story. As well, we also know that the family of this stepdad would occasionally send gifts, so he doesn't even know them, right? He doesn't know them. Only the stepdad knows them, and they have had no involvement. Yes, I get it. It sucks. The step brother and sisters did not have any grandparent figures in their lives, and it sucks. It sucks for them. I'm not going to take that away from them. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that it's my poster's responsibility to have to make them feel uh, like they have a right to his wedding. I mean, we don't know the type of relationship he has with his step siblings. We don't know the type of relationship that he has with his stepdad. We don't know the type of relationship that he has. Well, I mean, we know the type of relationship he has with his stepdad's family because it says they occasionally send gifts, but the story also mentions that the ones who were there present for him and his sister while they were getting these awards, graduations, football games, whatever the case may be, who was there? Their biological father's family. So that's who he's tied to. That's who he has uh, a care for because that family was in his life. They went out of their way to have a life with these two kids because they were part of the dad. Now, it's not their responsibility either to be having the same type of relationship with the step brother and sister because that's not within their same bloodline. That belongs to their biological dad. So there's no reason why they would have to cater to the step siblings or to cater to the mom to say, hey, I don't know these people. I don't want them in my wedding. And if you do, guess what? You pay for the plates. I don't see anything wrong with that. You know, it's like if somebody's being invited, if you, if there's, how can I put this? If you don't want, or not, I'm sorry, not don't want, if somebody's requesting you to make changes to your wedding that's going to cost money, then clearly you should be the one covering it because you're the one who's asking for it.
Okay, so I'm trying here. I'm really trying.
Try.
Okay, so if you're not going to do it for your step siblings,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to do it for your stepdad,
Mm-hmm.
at least humor your mom. At least maybe invite, I don't know, an uncle, a step uncle, some cousins, just so that way they could feel comfortable. You make your mom happy, and you know what? Who's going to turn down gifts? Come on, the more people you have, the more gifts you get.
Yeah, but you're having to add them to a roster that's going to cost money to. Now, let's say you add these people and none of them show up, or only a few show up. Now you spend all this extra money trying to accommodate for your mom when they didn't even show up to your wedding to begin with. So all this drama that happened really didn't matter because they didn't show up to your wedding, and now you're even more pissed off because now you spent money and they didn't even show up. You tapping out?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'll stop it there.
I think it's quite obvious, my honest opinion. I'm totally on his side. No, you do not get to dictate who I have at my wedding. I want someone at my wedding, they're
Hmm.
there. If I do not want them there, they are not going to be there. You do not get to tell me to invite somebody who I don't even know
Hmm.
just to make my step siblings more comfortable
Oh,
when
I
the people you're telling me to invite who literally do not even have an active part in my life.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. And my personal opinion on this story is the poser is definitely not in the wrong. I mean, it's his wedding. He should not have to feel bad about who he's going to place as his best man or who he's going to place in his actual wedding to be involved in. I mean, this is your wedding. This is not about your mom. Your day of your wedding is not about your mom. It's not about your dad. It's not about your stepsister, your stepbrother, your pet, your dog, your pet rock, your iguana, your grandmother, grandfather, whoever, anybody. This is about you and your future spouse.
Hey
Nobody
man, what do you
else.
got against the pet rock?
Well, mine died. It was a tragic story. I'll get into that later. Malnutrition. It's a sad story. Um, so, but anyways, that's what I'm trying to say is like you don't know. I mean, not you don't know. You you shouldn't have to cater to anybody. This is nobody's special day other than you and your spouse. So I 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you tried to defend that. You tried to defend it. You did to your best ability. However, but no, I 100% agree as far as the whole husband and wife thing because there's just no reason for them to have to defend that. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it is their big special day, and nobody should be telling them how they can and cannot spend their wedding day.
Okay, so we got one last one. And this one was actually submitted to us. So I'm going to go ahead and just give you the gist of it. And then from there, you and me flip the coin to see who we're going to defend.
Sounds good. Go ahead, take it away. Now, I am unfamiliar with the story, so I'll do
Yeah,
I.
because it was
It was
it was
just submitted,
submitted to us. Yeah.
so go for it.
So basically the story is that this this guy and this girl, they met,
Hmm.
fell in love, got engaged, got married. The ring that he gave her was his grandmother's wedding ring. The grandmother passed away, so they gave it to him so that he could give it to his wife. Well, a couple years into being married, he was killed by a drunk driver.
Ooh, that sucks. That's tragic.
Yeah. So she kept the ring because that was her wedding ring.
Hmm.
She lost her husband, so she kept the wedding ring. Well, his family is now trying to get the ring back from her,
Is
saying,
this a family heirloom?
yes, it's
Okay.
his grandmother's wedding ring.
Okay. I'm just trying to I'm trying to get context. 'Cause like I said, I'm familiar with the story. I didn't that was submitted to you, so I'm familiar with it. Go for it.
Yeah, it was his grandmother's wedding ring. So
Okay.
basically, it's a very, very sentimental item.
Hmm.
So when he passed away, the family went after her saying, okay, when can you give us the ring back? And she said, well, I'm not giving you the ring back because he gave this to me when we got married.
Hmm.
This is my wedding ring from my husband who I lost.
Hmm.
I'm keeping the ring. And they said, you can't keep the ring. That's our grandmother's wedding ring. It belongs to our family.
Hmm.
If you guys would have gotten divorced, you would have given the ring back. So why do you get to keep it just because he's dead? And it turned into this big huge thing that
Hmm.
she's not giving the ring back
Hmm.
and they want it back from her. So who's in the wrong?
Okay. That seems pretty interesting. Okay. I can see both sides of the story on that one. Okay, ready? I'm gonna flip the
Yeah.
coin, and you are defending. You got heads, so you're defending the wife.
Okay.
Ready?
All right.
Since
Yep.
you read the story, go for it. Your 10 minutes starts now. Go.
Her and her husband had a great marriage and a great life together. They had no problems in their marriage. There was nothing wrong, no negative anything. They were only married a couple years, so I mean, they kind of were still in that honeymoon stage. And for the family to go to her and say, "Well, he's gone now, you need to give us the ring back." Okay, well, would you have said that if he would have bought her the ring? Just because it's handed down from the grandmother, that doesn't mean that it still doesn't belong to her. If you didn't want to lose, because you were taking the chance if they would have gotten divorced. So by telling her, you know what, no, you need to give us the ring back, that's wrong because you're telling her, yeah, you lost your husband to a drunk driver, but guess what? Too bad. We need the only thing that you have left from when you were married to him. That he said, I want you to have this. My grandmother meant everything to me. I want you to have her wedding ring.
You're pretty passionate about this, aren't you? Because I can hear you pounding on the table over there.
Yes, I am because I've lost my grandparents.
Hmm.
I only have one left, and he's in Mexico. So I don't get to see him a lot. But I mean, I have things from my grandpa, and both my grandmas. And those things that I have mean everything to me. And I have the wedding rings from my grandpa and my grandma. So let's say for our kids, if our oldest says, you know what, mom, can I have Tata's or Nana's wedding ring so I can give to my fiance? I would be like, okay, but that's something very, very special. So you need to make sure that this is the one.
Hmm.
But if something were to happen, I I would know, okay, unless she gives the ring back, I know that if I hand that ring over, I'm never going to see it again.
Okay. Now, I just have a quick question about a point you made. You made a point where you said that if it was ended in a divorce, that it was expected for the ring to be given back. Why?
No, no, no. I said that they said if you would have gotten divorced, would you have kept the ring? They basically were asking her, would
Oh,
you have
okay, okay,
kept
okay.
it?
I thought that's a statement you were making. Like, you thought you were saying that if they got divorced, that she had to give the ring back. So that's what I was asking. Like, okay, so can you please help me understand why you would say that? But if that's what they told her, then that's part of the story. Okay.
Because they didn't understand why she was so, you know, popped up on keeping it. It's like, okay, well, if you guys would have gotten divorced,
Hmm.
you probably would have given the ring back to us. So why, just because he's dead, do you feel entitled to keep the ring?
Okay. So are you done, or you have more to
Go
say?
for it. Go for it.
Okay. So from the parents' perspective, right? They lost their son. They lost this is a family heirloom, and this is a reminder of what they have of their son because they gave it. Now, they're probably going to want to use this to give to the brother, right? Because I think that's what you said. They were going to give it to the brother to use for his wife now because the he had died.
Well, no, they didn't mention anything about giving it to the other sibling. They
Hmm.
just said that he gave it to her, and then the family said, okay, well, it's he's dead, so you need to give the ring back to us.
Now, I could understand this from the parents because this is a family heirloom, right? This is something that's been in the family for generations and generations, and you want to keep it within the same. Now, the biggest question is, did these two have a child together? Because if there's no child, now the wedding ring to her, yes, it's emotional attachment to the ring because this is her husband, but what's going to happen to the ring the second she remarries? Because now that ring is no longer going to be on her hand, it's going to be tossed away because now it's a symbol uh, of a previous marriage, right? So the new guy's going to come in, they're going to get married because there's no child here, from what I'm understanding, right?
Correct. Yeah,
Okay,
there's no
so the
child.
fact that there's no child tells me that she's eventually going to remarry. It's going to be it's hard to lose somebody. It always is, and there's no doubt about that. So definitely my condolences to the whole family. But the fact that she's going to end up remarrying at some point, now she could say, I'm never going to remarry, I'm never going to remarry, but believe me, when the right person comes along, you're going to remarry, period. So that ring will no longer be on her finger. The emotional attachment she's going to feel to this ring will start to diminish the second she gets into a new marriage. So why should she keep this ring, knowing that when she remarries, this ring's going to be just another little dust collector in the corner, when this has a high emotional and a high it's a family heirloom, so it's a high emotional value attachment to this whole family. So yes, I definitely feel that the parents should get that ring back because it's only a matter of time before that ring starts to collect dust in the corner when she remarries.
Okay, but how do you know that she would start start to lose sentimental value to it? He was taken away from her.
Hmm.
Therefore, there was nothing negative in that marriage up until that point for her to be like, you know what, I'm gonna start losing my love for him.
Oh, none at all. Absolutely none at all. But when the new guy comes in and they start dating and they've been married for years and years and years, which ring do you think she's going to be wearing? The new husband or the
Obviously,
deceased husband?
she'd be wearing the new husband's ring.
Exactly. So then the old ring, what happens to it?
She would keep it in a box most likely.
In a box. Okay. So this very high value family heirloom is going to be, as I mentioned, collecting dust. Correct?
Yeah.
So is it more of a emotional attachment for her to hold onto the ring because that's the current state she's in right now because her husband had just passed, or is she not looking at this from a long-term perspective? I gotta be honest, I didn't think you would tap out on this one. I thought I was gonna lose this one.
No, because honestly, my honest opinion is I'm in the middle.
And that's why I said when you were reading done telling me the story, I'm like, this one could really go either way because you got to look at both sides, right? From the parents' perspective, I get it. I get why they want that heirloom back because they know that the second she remarries, that ring's going out the window. It's going to end up at the pawn shop. Um,
Okay, going to what you said, obviously, if it's the grandmother's ring, it belonged to the mother
mhm,
of either the husband's mom or the husband's dad.
correct.
So let's go with the dad, okay? Let's say
hmm
it's the dad's mom.
hmm
That's his mother's wedding ring.
Okay.
You know, like the you gave it to your son so that he could give it to his wife,
hmm
assuming the best that, okay, it's going to continue to stay in the family.
hmm
But once he was killed,
hmm
it sounded like she was no longer around. So he just lost that connection, the only connection left of his mom.
Yes, but there's no child involved. So at that point, you're no longer passing on this ring from generation to generation.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's losing the only connection that he has left to his mom.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why you got to look at both factors. I mean, this story really is one of those rare stories where, I mean, both sides make a lot of sense, right? Because
Hmm.
if she remarries, she's not going to wear that ring. It's just going to sit there collecting dust.
Exactly.
And he had no child with her, so that it's not going to be passed on. And if she does remarry, and it is collecting dust, the family is just watching this heirloom go to waste for no reason, because whether it be emotional attachment, because she definitely is going to have emotional attachment to this ring, especially because of her dead husband. But the fact is that and this is I harp on this a lot because I keep saying the new husband, right? That's whose ring she's going to be wearing. She's not going to be wearing her deceased husband's ring. She's going to be wearing her new husband's ring. And and like you mentioned, you have certain things from your grandfather that you hold very, very dear to you. I mean, I know one in particular, I'm not going to say it, but I know one item in particular that you hold very, very dear to you. And I know that if that was given away and something happened to our son during that marriage, to where to a similar situation of this story, you'd want that item back.
Yeah.
You would definitely want that item back from that person because there's nobody to carry. Now here's another thing though. Had they had a child together, I can understand it now, because
Oh
now
yeah,
because
totally.
now there's a tangible attachment to an object that could remind you of your father, right? That passed away. So if there was a child, I 100% agree with the fact that she wanted to keep the ring.
And I'm pretty sure that even the family would probably leave it.
hmm
They probably wouldn't have asked for the ring back because being under the assumption that the ring would then go to the child.
Yeah. So the fact that there is no child involved, that's kind of where I'm hung up on. Where I gotta say, she's got it. And by the way, the timer is up, so this is now our personal opinions.
Yeah,
Um,
because I tapped out.
yeah, you tapped out. So this is our personal opinions. I mean, this could really go. This could be one of those situations where it does go either way, because I get her side. She's emotionally attached to this ring because that's her deceased husband, and she wants to hold on to it. But when you think about it long term, and she does get married, she's not going to be wearing that ring, nor is she going to prioritize that ring over her new husband, right? Now, the parents' side, that's an family heirloom. That's dear to them. That's something that they want to keep in their family, because it is a family heirloom. That is something they can give off to their other son who's not deceased, for then him to give to his new wife. So I mean, we'll have to let the listeners decide on this one, because it could really go either way, in my opinion.
But you know what? Coming from the viewpoint of that other wife, she may not even want it because it was already given to her sister-in-law.
Yeah, I mean that's another way to look at it. But I guarantee you that ring with the family that it belongs to will find use for it. That's a sure thing, you know?
Well, like say, okay, when you and me got married, you gave me my own rings. You
hmm
bought brand new rings and you gave them to me.
hmm
I obviously don't wear my grandparents' rings, but I have both of them.
hmm
I have my grandpa and my grandma's wedding rings.
Best Cracker Jacks money I ever spent.
I have both my grandparents' wedding rings and I don't wear them. but they are very, very precious to me.
Hmm.
I take them out every once in a while just to look at them, you know, and appreciate that I have my grandparents' wedding rings,
Hmm.
and then I safely put them away.
Yeah, but you're their granddaughter. Like, if you handed that to me, I guarantee you. I'm not gonna say I guarantee you. It would come out of me to give that back to. Well, I don't know because I've gotten very, very close to your family. So
Yeah.
I see your
Oh yeah,
family as
my
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 own.
my family doesn't even use in-law,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you,
Neither
you
do I.
you're yeah, you're in the family.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, but out of respect, mainly to your family, I would give it back because it is still. I never got a chance to meet him, unfortunately. Um, but I know how. What's the word I'm looking for here?
You
I
know how loved he was.
Yes, I know how loved he was by your family, and out of respect for that, I would definitely give it back.
Yeah.
Unless they wanted me to keep it, then that'd be a different story. But
Yeah. That one is
this one got too real, man. Got too real.
why would you want to bring this up? God.
Yeah, I mean, this is the last story of the day, and this is what you bring up. Well, I'm not letting you
Gosh,
pick
such a
stories no
downer.
more.
Hey, I can't hear you anymore.
What?
Only reason why I know you're talking is because you what did you do?
What do you mean?
Okay, I can't hear you.
What do you mean you can't hear me? Do you have
You're
your?
lagging.
How am I lagging?
There, now you're good.
Of course I'm good. What are you talking about?
No, like there was literally a point where you were not talking, and I was only able to hear you because I hear you muffled behind me.
Well, your computer sucks. That's why.
It's your computer.
My computer's a
You're the
beast.
one hosting this call.
Okay. Anyways, we will find a different time to argue about this.
Yes.
Well, everybody, that is a wrap for today. Let us know what your thoughts are on our arguments. Who do you think is in the wrong? And don't forget to write to us on either iTube. Yes, please write to us on iTube. That's a fail. So don't forget to write to us on either YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and all the social medias ever, and let us know on your thoughts on who won. Give us your thoughts and opinions on who you think is right, who's in the wrong. Give us different point of views, different perspectives, whatever you guys can bring to the table. And if there's a story that you would like us to read or even personally feature that has happened to you or a situation that you are, I want to say, well versed in, because I don't want to try to go off half the story here, please let us know. Send it in to email it to ohsojudgy@gmail.com. Don't worry, we'll keep the names and the entire scenario discreet. Until next time, judges.
You be the judge right now. Come on now and be the judge.
Bye.
Bye bye.